Nothing in her past is for her, especially Bill. Unfortunately, I think Dani is saying things that she wants to believe, but is yet to believe those things. What's up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Here to talk about today's Tuesday episode of the show, which was fairly boring, I fear. But let me get into my notes and talk about what went down today. Actually, first, let me talk about the daytime Emmys, because I said I would during the watch along. Beyond the Gates had a lot of acting nominees. Carla and Tamara for lead actress, that being Anita and Dani. I believe Trisha got a nominee for supporting actress. I believe that Tim and Bill got a nomination for supporting actor. Clifton Davis did not get nominated. I assume he went for lead actor. That is a snub. Although the main snub to me is Colby was not nominated. Amber Michelle, who plays Eva, was nominated for, like, I don't even know what that category is called these days. It's not younger actress, it's like up and comer or something. And so did Naomi, Ariel, but not Colby. That's crazy. That's the biggest snub from the show. She definitely deserved a nomination. She better get nominated next year, because the stuff she's done over this past month has been the best acting in all of soap operas this year, in my opinion. So I am sad that Colby got snubbed, but good to see all these nominations for the show. I hope they win some. Some will definitely be deserved. Andre and Dani today were together in bed. They seemed to have a much funner time in bed than yesterday, where it wasn't going as planned, with Dani trying to distract Andre with sex. But apparently Andre forgot he had plans with Ted today. And before he left, he did ask Dani if she was worried about Bill again. She once again said she's not, and that Bill was far from her mind, as Dani continued to lie to herself when it comes to Bill. Because as soon as Andre left, Dani was texting Naomi about Bill to see how Bill is doing. Then Nicole arrived and also thought that Dani should go see Bill at the hospital. I don't know why people are pushing Dani to see Bill, although none of these people know that Dani and Bill had that sex in the elevator. Nicole is proud of Dani for, like, moving on from Bill, getting out of Bill's orbit, but did ask Dani what Dani's not telling her. Dani just said that the tornado shook her awake and that she has a great life right now and nothing in her past is for her, especially Bill. Unfortunately, I think Dani is saying things that she wants to believe, but is yet to believe those things. We will get back to Dani, because Dani, of course, did go and visit Bill at the hospital, as expected. Hayley started this episode with Ashley and Shanice at the nurse's station being so upset over Bill being back in the hospital. I don't think Shanice was buying what Hayley was selling, though. Ashley today was getting texts from Grayson, happy that Grayson now has a legit bartending side hustle instead of illegal activity. But all these people at the hospital know that Grayson was doing illegal activity, yet he still works at the hospital. I think that's unrealistic, to say the least. They also talked about Shanice and Ted. Shanice has fallen hard for Ted, and Ashley thinks that Ted has fallen hard for Shanice as well. Shanice told Ashley that Ashley needs to just take it at a natural pace with Grayson, but those two have already had a speed run at dating, which is why it's so hard to believe that they care so much about each other after what we saw on screen, where they just had one date, and then suddenly Ashley was lying for Grayson. Shanice also complained to Ashley about this ex that cheated on her in the past, and then Nicole walked up right as Shanice was praising Ted, saying Ted would never cheat on her. So, of course, Shanice apologized to Nicole, saying she wasn't throwing shade at Nicole, since that's what Ted did to Nicole. But Nicole said she's happy that Shanice feels confident with Ted. Nicole started talking about her love life with Kyle and Carlton. That feels so freeing. Ashley decided to chime in with her love life when they talked about how Ashley might have been almost the one that cheated on Derek with the whole Andre situation. They just had a good old gossip session at the nurse's station today. They kind of made their love lives seem juicier and more soapy than they actually have been. The only soapy and juicy cheating scandal was Ted on Nicole. By the end of the episode, Shanice was still talking about how she really has fallen for Ted and hopes that Ted can get to a place to feel similar. Ted started this episode running into Tomas. Tomas knows he looked so pathetic with his proposal snub with the whole Dupree family. Ted found out that Kat bought Tomas a condo, because that's how he worded it, saying, Kat bought me a condo. Then he had to explain that this was Kat's way of trying to get them to move into each other. Tomas complaining that he wants to do his part in the relationship, thought he would be further along in his career and he could help Kat with their life together, which is understandable from Tomas, I will say, even though he acted a fool later in this episode. Andre and Ted met up like was planned, and Ted learned that Bill is back in the hospital. Andre talking about how Dani is taking it too well, acting like nothing is happening and burying her head in the sand, which she is also doing with the BRCA gene. I thought Ted gave Andre some good advice today, saying that he knows that the gene test, the positive gene test, makes it seem like they gotta wait for something bad to happen. But Ted told Andre that he needs to live in the moment with Dani while he can, which I think a lot of us need to listen to more often. It's a hard thing to do, live in the moment. But a good old quote from Buffy the Vampire Slayer goes something like, live in the moment because tomorrow you might be dead or something. It's a more Buffy saying, but that is a saying in general. Ted talks with Andre about Shanice, saying that he is falling for Shanice. So separately today, both Ted and Shanice talking about falling for each other. But Ted brings up how he's only told 2 women in his life he loved them, Nicole and Leslie, of all people. So I can kind of understand why Ted might be apprehensive about the love word. Because if he told old Dana that he loved her, that did not work out well. As we know, Bill was still in the hospital today. Naomi and Chelsea still with him. Chelsea was reading symptoms on WebMD, going down the rabbit hole, which some of us do. I can be bad at doing that. Madison had to get her fiance Chelsea to stop going down that rabbit hole. Madison has ordered many tests for Bill, but he doesn't want to be kept overnight for observation like she wants him to be. Naomi had to get into a little mini argument with Hayley so that she could get Hayley to push Bill to stay overnight. Hayley went in to convince Bill to stay, said she would go get some of his items like toothbrush and bring them back. In typical Hayley fashion, her way to get Bill to stay was to say, the sooner that you can get over this, Bill, or we can get this over with, the sooner that they can do other things. Hayley likes to lead with sexual talk when it comes to Bill. When Hayley left, Chelsea, of course, called Dani to say that Bill has to stay overnight. Chelsea telling her mother that she is scared. Dani tried to help Chelsea feel better about the situation, saying Bill is the most headstrong man she knows and doesn't quit. Then at work, when Hayley went to go grab some of Bill's stuff in the office, Tomas was in Bill's office, sitting in Bill's chair in Bill's office, daydreaming about how maybe one day he will be in charge of the company or some shit. So Hayley walked in on that. Tomas stood up real quick, bumbling over his words, saying he was looking for files. Hayley learns that Tomas knows that Bill is in the hospital, which Tomas says he is worried about Bill. He knows it looks bad that he was just sitting in Bill's chair wishing to be there when Bill's in the hospital. It did look bad. Tomas was as dumb as usual today. Hayley told Tomas that ambition looks good on him. And Hayley got in Tomas's head about how other people will be coming for that seat or something. While that was going on, Dani, of course, arrived to see Bill in the hospital. Dani was telling Chelsea that she came to see Bill for her girls. But when Chelsea left, Bill asked Dani if that was true. She said, "What do you think?" Which was Dani's way of saying that's not completely true. She asked him if he is scared, and he says that he is. So Dani tried to give him some positivity. Hayley returned to the room to see Dani there, and they were laughing about something, asking what's so funny. Dani saying Hayley had to be there. When Dani left, Hayley asked Bill if Bill sent her home for a toothbrush so that the room could be cleared for Dani to be there. Bill said that Hayley offered, and he had no idea Dani was stopping by, which is true. Hayley did offer. But Hayley was still giving him shit. Bill was saying, don't do this, don't rile me up while I'm in the hospital. That was Bill's way of gaslighting Hayley. Bill and Dani do have a lot in common. They like to try and make people feel sorry for them and really ramp up the guilt with other people when they're being called out on their shit. We've been seeing these past two episodes, especially Dani do that with Andre. Now Bill trying to do that with Hayley here. When Nicole saw that Dani came to the hospital after Dani was talking this big game about not going to see Bill, she questioned Dani. Dani was walking to the elevator saying that she had to come and tell Bill not to die on her. Nicole then said, don't you mean die on your girls? I like Nicole calling Dani out a little bit here, but this is still going to be... We're in this for the long haul. As slow as this show moves, it's going to be a while until the truth comes out between what happened in the elevator with Dani and Bill. Naomi ended up in Bill's office rescheduling the deposition with Mike when Tomas walked in, basically giving Naomi a lot of shit today, asking if she works there and tried to tell her he's got it. But, you know, Bill asked Naomi to reschedule the deposition, and Naomi is working on that case with her father. Tomas was almost mocking Naomi about all the do-gooder stuff she was doing in law and said that, well, she was basically turning her back on her father. Tomas has been at the firm busting his ass the whole time. Naomi said, yet Bill sent me here, and that she didn't turn her back on Bill. But Tomas gave this speech about how he's here, he's been here, and he's got this. So Tomas getting really shitty with Naomi there. And I hope this gets back to Kat and is another nail in the coffin for that relationship. That's the best that can come from this. Speculation in the live chat today during the watch along. Maybe they are giving Tomas a heel turn. Maybe he will become a villain. If they do, I still hope it leads to them killing Tomas off. That is still the best course of action for the Tomas character.